Hello everyone and welcome back to Faithful to the Traitors. My name's Ben, I'm a Faithful, and we are both here to discuss Series 3 of the Traitors UK.
Oh, me? You're talking about me. Sorry, you said both. I thought, I don't know. I didn't know who you were talking about. Hello.
You don't need an introduction.
The man of no introductions. Hello, I'm Alex. Not Alex or Alexander from the TV show. Alex from the podcast Faithful to the Traitors.
Sadly.
Unfortunately. And
old blue eyes Alexander.
He's got you under your skin. And you've completely put me off my trend.
Well,
my
that's
trend?
what Alexander does.
I'm talking nonsense.
It's his career.
He's literally been on the show for 10 minutes. And that's, I would say, has consumed most of the time you've talked about on the podcast. Yeah, true. Wow, okay, so outside of the podcast.
There's
outside of the podcast, that's all you talk about.
There's been lots of traitor things on my TikTok algorithm today.
I'm Faithful, by the way.
It's taken over my algorithm. And you know what I've seen?
Mm-hmm.
Freddie, we're looking at you. I've seen about 4 fan cams of Freddie.
Of course there are.
And they're all slow motion bits. And guess which bit pops up?
In your trousers?
No.
It's another trouser joke I've made. 2 episodes, 2 trouser jokes.
Well,
thanks, everyone.
Is that the question?
Good night.
The question you're going to ask this year?
What's in Freddie's trousers?
Yeah.
There you go.
No.
Can you tell us what's in Freddie's trousers? Freddie in the shower, no doubt, with him lathering himself up, having a shower.
That 2 seconds has given him lots of fan cam.
Are you surprised?
Online,
surprised? We still don't know his political views, though.
No.
We
his TikTok came up as well on my thing.
Did it?
His family were all dancing for New Year's Day, celebrating the traitors.
Good.
So yeah.
Dancing.
Well, they were going to that one. What's that dance?
I don't know. Summer loving.
I don't know. Whatever.
Greed.
Summer loving. No. And also, someone else's TikTok came up on my thing. It was Maya's.
A lot of things came up yesterday for you, didn't they?
No, it's just now when I was scrolling. It's all traitor.
Is that what you call it?
Maya is TikTok famous. Quote.
Is she?
Well, under 200,000 followers, but still. So
it's more than us.
She could be on the American series with that.
What, like Ekin Sue?
Yeah.
Boo Hoo Hoo.
So there you go. My TikTok has been
Maya as in her sister's Armani?
Yes.
What's her sister doing?
I don't know. No, nothing. I don't know.
Okay, well...
But it just surprised me, because normally they try to stray away from stuff like that on the Traitors UK, on the BBC. But, you know...
The BBC! They don't like those influencers, do they?
Yeah, so we've got an influencer, so we'll see who else pops up.
Do you reckon she'll be her or Freddie? Who will be the first one to break their secrecy clause?
Oh, it'll be Freddie, because... Oh, I thought you meant, like, become, like...
Well, famous.
Instagram,
oh no, of course it'll be Freddie.
Instagram famous or whatever.
Yeah, there'll be. All we have to do is take his top off, and he'll have millions of.
I have a new favourite
followers.
as well. After last week, where you said there was going to be a boys' group of like Tyler, Jake, and Freddie, and I was like, hate boy groups. I quite like Tyler all of a sudden. He won me over this episode.
Me too. The barber,
little sweetie,
the barber who can't get a girlfriend because they don't like listening to him talk about him.
And he likes bird watching, and he likes listening to sounds and
He's
things.
He's a twitcher. Is that what it's called? A twitcher.
Yeah, well, that's the original Twitter name, isn't it? That's where it came from. It's like watching birds. You sit there and watch little things.
But the Twitter was never called Twitcher.
No, but that's like where the originated of the name Twitter was from like bird watching.
Well, yeah, of course. Hence why the logo was a tweet.
Yeah,
was a bird.
I'm just educating. Anyway, look, Tyler won me over, so I think he's sweet.
Yeah, no, Tyler, and he was good at the game, and he was very encouraging.
Yeah,
I feel like he's
good on missions.
Who's the one in series 1 who is like, if you know, you know? I forget his name.
Aaron.
I feel like he's the Aaron of series 3.
No, that's Freddie. Clearly, is the Aaron of series 3.
No, in looks, but in personality,
right?
In sweetness, I think Tyler. Although Freddie has been very quiet, let's be honest. I thought Freddie would be a lot more confrontational than he's actually ended up being.
No need to be. He's got pretty privilege, so he'll just be in the final.
That's true.
That's how this game works, everyone. We know.
So, if you have any views of the show, The Traitors UK Series 3, then please do get in touch with us. You can email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. If you like watching a podcast, we are also in video form. Hello. Yes. If you're watching us right now, just search YouTube for Faithful to the Traitors podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and follow, and comment underneath if you have any views about the show as well.
People did that on YouTube. You were talking about YouTube for video podcast.
We can talk about the comments in a minute. However, they can also get in touch with us on X at Traitors Podcast, on Instagram and Threads at Faithful to the Traitors. We have a WhatsApp group. There's a QR code if you want to scan it. If you're watching the video,
there may or may not be a QR code. Who knows?
But you can also click the link in our show notes as well. On there and also on our social media right now, there is a poll out which we'd love you to vote for. The results of that will be on episode 3 of who do you think of the traitors will be the first one to be found out.
Can't wait to vote on that.
Mina, Linda or Armani.
I wonder.
Who knows? And also, if you enjoy listening to the podcast, of course, don't forget to subscribe. And also, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. What comments did we get then on our
Well, you said people
YouTube
can watch
channel?
on YouTube.
People can watch on YouTube.
I think we have, there's a variety of listeners, watchers. Our most intelligent ones are clearly on our YouTube channel.
Sorry to anyone who just listens to the podcast, because I think that everyone who listens to our podcast is intelligent because they listen to our podcast.
Well, until you...
The truly independent, not committed to the BBC so we can say what we like, podcast on the traitors.
Well, when you hear this comment, you're going to agree because it's the most profound comment we've had.
Profound?
Yes, I know words. So, Gavin...
And Stacey.
Gerard, 2053, is he from the future? Maybe. Has said, Ben... That's me, everyone. Is looking mighty fine. It has to be said. Right. Thanks, guys, for the podcast.
That's the. They are.
There was also another. That's the most intelligent comment we've had. If you're watching the video, you're going to know.
To be fair, I don't blame.
Does he know I'm Ben, or does he think you're Ben though?
Well, no, because I've got this tuft of hair, and I've probably got it now as well. That I was rewatching because I make little shorts. Also, we're on TikTok, I should say. Look for BAM Productions.
Are you the one making the Freddy fan cams?
I'm making Freddy fan cams, but I'm also making shorts for the podcast. And I was looking at the video, and I've got this tuft of hair, and when you see it, you won't unsee it. And if you're watching the video, and it's just just annoying me every time I see it.
Linda fan cam.
Linda?
Yeah, a Linda fan cam.
Can I just say...
I think it can be made.
Can I just say that I think that, and this is no shade to the people on social media, but I think people are very desperate for finding this year's Diane, and I think people have jumped on Linda very quickly.
Oh, I've not seen much.
I have. And
I saw a Yin fan cam, by the way.
Yin, fine. I'm not 100% on board with that. But I feel like the people are so desperate to find a slightly older white woman who's a little bit sassy.
Are you talking to me?
Of course. If this was series 4,
it's a demographic that we like, okay?
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying that I think that we should just hope, because I said I loved Fozia, and I don't think people. Obviously, she went out after 10 minutes, but I just feel like we should just, you weren't that keen on Tyler, and look at you now.
Yeah, well,
I think we're too quick. We're desperately grabbing at anyone.
At middle-aged women.
We're desperately looking for a middle-aged white woman who we can love and be like, oh, she's a bit sassy, and put lots of sound clips. Again, I've put a sound clip of Linda on our X and our Instagram. Fine, but I think we should just wait, because look what's happened. Freddie's blossomed. Taylor's shown to be a great guy.
Yeah, Freddie had a shower.
Yes, blossomed. I like Kazim. I think he's...
I said Ellen was going to make it to the final. She was my secret
Ellen
one
out
who's
episode
looking
2.
great, and yeah.
Anyway, sorry, comments.
Another comment from Alice, and this is directed to you, I assume.
Hi, Alice. Is it nice?
I have wanted to applaud pilots and movies in the past, but it's because of people's opinions that I don't.
Well,
and then she also says it's also good to see you guys.
Oh.
But so you've shamed someone into not applauding good landings.
Well, I mean,
it's fine. Take it up at the round table.
You do, you guys, because that's just
Clap.
This is one idiot opinion, mine. So if you want to applaud pilots for landing a plane, their job, why don't you go into Burger King and applaud someone for grilling a burger?
It's people like you.
Well, okay. Well, why don't we applaud everyone? At the end of this podcast, we'll applaud each other.
It's quite fascinating.
I just think that, it's their job. They don't need to be applauded.
No, I agree. Right, so shall we talk about the show? Because we've got lots of banishments, murders. We're both still sick, by the way, everyone.
I know. Mine's come back with a vengeance for some annoying reason.
It disappears, it comes back.
I made the fatal mistake of saying to you, I feel better today.
You've put the heater on again behind us.
Oh, I'll turn the heater off.
Well, it's too late now because it's on. So now
I have an app.
I'm going to get hot as it goes on the episode.
If you're talking about Freddie for much longer, you most certainly...
I'm not that basic this year. I've evolved.
So we've started the episode how the last episode ended, and that was with the roundtable vote.
Yeah, it was dicey a bit for Linda, but then the votes were a bit scattered than we thought.
Everywhere. There were 9 people who got at least one vote, which may sound like, just at least one vote. That's a bit dumb. But actually, the winning majority was 8. Was 4, actually, think about it, because Linda got 4 and then Nathan got 8. So the majority was only 4 more. So actually, to have one vote is a very tricky situation to find yourself in. And I found that a few people did get a little bit worried that they were already being spotted and pointed out as being a possible traitor. Even the ones who only had one vote. Anna, for instance, got a little bit confused by the whole situation. Yeah. I think Francesca, though didn't say it vocally, looked surprised by the
she got another vote on the second one as well, and she looked surprised again.
And that was Samantha. A very random one as well. That was from Lisa. But that Lisa, our other middle-aged white queen,
they're battling it out at the moment.
She between her and Linda, and she didn't know who to go for. But we'll talk about the second round table. But yeah, it was really, really mixed bag. Normally, on the very first one, everyone jumps on one name and just rides it.
Yeah, because it's safer.
Because it's
first
the safest.
Round table.
Exactly, it's the safest thing to do. It doesn't make you stand out if you vote a little bit skew from someone else. But no one did that. Everyone went their own path, which is interesting for what may happen ahead, because it looks as though maybe that actually people aren't going to be so chummy and ganged together, and they may be more independent with their thoughts this time.
People have free will.
They do, more of a free will, but that hasn't led to actually them getting any closer to a traitor, really, because...
No, I mean, there's a few people who are suspecting Amani, a few people suspecting... Linda. No one. Yep, Mina is top of the barrel.
Yes.
She's okay. But I feel Amani, like we said last episode, I don't think she's doing the best job. She's doing too much.
Well, Amani would like to correct you for that, because Amani seems to think that she's doing a fine job.
Well, that's dangerous in itself.
Yes, Amani is very much frustrated by her fellow traitors, and she's very vocal about that again at the turret later on. But she feels like she's doing all the legwork, all the manipulation of the group, while Mina is being too quiet, and Linda is talking but not giving out anything too useful. So in Amani's mind, she is basically winning the game for her fellow traitors. It's a shame, because
she's a single mum who's worked 3 jobs.
It's a shame for Amani, because I think she is thinking that she's doing this for the good of her fellow traitors, while the other 2 traitors, Mina and Linda, I think are ready to backstab her.
Because she's a bit of a loose cannon, I feel. That's how they're looking at it. Well, they're like, you're going to mess this up for all of us.
Yes, but I don't think Amani thinks she is. I think Amani genuinely believes she's doing a good job here. Yeah. But Mina's already...
Like, when around the round table, she threw there's an older traitor, and then Linda was like, she's going to backstab me, but she actually was doing it to Lisa. So, she is backing them, but in a weird backwards way.
Yes, she's the player of this season where she's on the show, but she doesn't seem to understand the rules. We've had them in a few seasons.
Very early to suspect that.
And but
she might be doing it on purpose.
Well, she's doing it on purpose. She's talking to everyone because she thinks that if she can get into every single person's group, every single person knows her and likes her, that's her strongest way of staying in the game. Because I think that to be quiet and in the corner and say nothing is actually more dangerous than being out and open. And Amani's taking the out and open approach. Unfortunately, though, because she is a traitor, she's dragging Mina and Linda alongside with her. It's been to Linda's detriment, as you said, because she accused that she made the assumption, inverted commas, that there was an elderly traitor this year. Then quickly said, "Oh, it must be Lisa." And also, Mina is very worried that she's kind of talking too much, and so Mina's already said that if she talks herself into a hole, she's not going to dig her out of it, because she knows that by associating herself alongside Amani, she's going to be seen as being a traitor. So Mina at the moment is, as you say, playing the safest game. So I feel a bit sorry for Amani, because I actually don't think she's doing in her mind anything wrong. It's just unfortunate that the other two...
game.
Yeah, it's her game.
But even her sister's a bit she's acting weird and not like my sister. So
Maya has also
Maya the influencer.
I was about to say, she is also very much pointed out that she's noticed that her sister is acting very strangely. She's saying that her energy is off. She's used to seeing a different energy. And also Leanne has mentioned to Linda, also her fellow traitor, that she's a bit confused and worried by the confidence of Armani as well. So Armani's
and Tyler
overconfidence.
said to Leon, wasn't it Leon he said it to? Tyler said he's suspecting Armani to watch her around the round table. She's too confident and saying too much.
Tyler wants to set a trap for Armani, so that's something that they've already...
I know it was to Kaz he said it to.
But he wants to lay a trap, and that's something that's obviously been edited in for a reason, so that's going to be happening later on in the series.
I love a blindside. There's only been one good, successful blindside ever in all the series that I've watched of Traitors, so can they pull off it?
Will Tyler include anyone from... Because he mentioned it, as you said, who did he mention it to? Jake, was it? Or
it was Kaz he said it to, yeah.
He mentioned it to Kaz. Well, do you think... Because I think Kaz is quite close to Linda. Yes, Kaz is quite close to Linda because a lot of people are now accusing Kaz as being a traitor because there's still the association that Linda's a traitor, and because Linda and Kaz are very close to one another, people are believing that they're traitors together.
Yeah.
So do you think Kaz will include Linda with the, let's say, blind side to get rid of Armani, and Linda will then tell Mina, and so then Linda and Mina will go traitor
alongside her.
Traitor on traitor.
I think
it'll be very early on in the game.
Yeah, but it would be in their best interest too. I feel. But who knows? But Nathan did go, a faithful, got banished right at the beginning of the episode.
So he got 8 votes, Linda got 4, Charlotte got 2, Ellen got 2, Keith got 1, Anna got 1, Livy, not Olivia, Livy got 1, Francesca got 1, and Jake got 1. Jake and Linda basically are the two also this series who are basically voting for each other. Jake will always vote for Linda. Linda will always vote for Jake.
Well,
that hate has already happened. It started.
A relationship can blossom from that.
It can. But believe you me, for as long as Jake or Linda are in this game, Jake will vote for Linda. Linda will vote for Jake. It's like Eurovision, where two countries who are neighbouring each other will vote for each other 12 points.
We love to see it.
But instead of love or political gain, they're doing it because Jake hates Linda, Linda hates Jake.
Very emotional, this cast as well. Episode 2.
Oh, I've never seen so much crying.
I know. Ellen's crying. Loads of people. Charlotte's crying.
Anna's crying.
Anna, yeah. It's just... There's a lot.
Maggie laughed. She's such a trooper.
Freddie's showering away his tears.
Freddie's...
He's crying in the shower.
He's not even in the shower. He's not got the shower on. It's just
crying.
his tears that are making his body wet.
Although we can't just talk about him in the shower rubbing his pits. We also had Keith. Did you see what Keith was doing?
Keith was doing taekwondo. I mean, it did entertain me.
Why not?
I mean, if you're going to go out, because in a minute we'll be talking about Keith a lot more. Yeah, if you're going to go out, you might as well go out in style.
Yeah, so he was that. And Jake just went to bed, turned his lamp off. Not doing much.
I mean, that's what I would do. Fun. No, Jake was like seething about his hate for Linda. He made this little Linda voodoo doll. He put a little pair of glasses and dyed the purple hair and started putting pins in it. Jake hates Linda, doesn't he?
But so those are the 3 that were up for murder. But it was our lovely Keith that
oh my god, we're jumping. Hang on, we haven't done Nathan's fact file yet.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd do Nathan and Keith's fact file.
Oh, at the same time.
Just to try and condense some fact files down because there's so many to do.
Let me just quickly go through them then. So, as you say, Keith was up for murder because Charlotte said his name, so they wanted to make Charlotte look suspicious. And it worked as well because Charlotte's
pretending to be Welsh but failing more and more each episode. Where she's just given up on her accent now, I think, when she's crying.
Well, bless her, to be fair. She even, again, to a piece to camera said like, oh, I thought my accent would make people like me and think that I'm kind of like a bit like easy to get along with, so I'd slide into the finals. But
all
it's not
she's done is just make things like she's put more pressure on herself by doing this weird lie. It's not helped at all.
This is why I would never.
And I think people can tell when someone's lying and not being completely honest because people are like iffy about her, but they can't work out why
exactly.
And I think that's why, because she's doing this weird like double life thing. So.
But I agree with you. I think that if you're going to lie, the thing with a lie is you don't over egg it. You don't over egg the mixture. So like Leanne, she said that she's a nail technician. That was it. She doesn't need to say anything more. She's only done that because she felt like that people would feel she was too strong if they found out that she was in the army.
Yeah.
Well, Charlotte, she's kind of using I am Welsh as like that's my one personality trait, and she's going on and on and on about it, and she's gone on and on about it, and so much that people are now deliberately looking for the flaws in her.
And obviously being Welsh isn't that popular because they voted out Ellen. So
I mean, this is the thing. And Charlotte was very close to being voted out too. Yeah. So obviously the Wales plan wasn't really the right one to take, unfortunately. But big up for the Welsh, because we love the Welsh here.
Exactly. And I loved Ellen, and I think it's a shame she went.
Yes,
but she seemed very like emotional, so I don't think she would have coped very well.
We will get.
She was having a breakdown, I feel.
But again, like you say, a lot of them are kind of like Mina was like crying. Well, Mina cried at the end of the first round table because she thought it was a good way of, if she was pretending to be upset about everyone voting for Linda. And she thought that was a good way of people kind of like changing their mind about Linda. Again, Mina quite rightly a good opinion on herself, knowing that she's got some kind of influence in the group. And she felt like that if she showed concern about Linda having her name put out there, thinking she's a faithful, inverted commas, then people may stop voting for Linda quite so heavily. So again, Mina is kind of manipulating people using her crying.
So was Amani at the breakfast table. She cried over Keith being murdered. And everyone was like, she's doing it too much.
Well, she
was really letting it
But
flow.
Amani, this is it. Amani is overacting, and a lot of people, it's bent them out of shape a little bit with it, hasn't it?
Right, so do you want to do some fact files then, just to learn a bit about our departed?
Yes.
What's your name and where do you come from?
Nathan. Lovely Nathan. He's 39. Did you know that?
Oh.
Nathan believes his wife, quote, manifested this whole situation that led him to being cast on the Traitors. He reckons he's gonna bring chaos to the show and has no qualms in lying into someone's face. Quote, I've got to be quite strategic, but I think I will be planting a lot of seeds and spreading a bit of gossip because I quite enjoy it. Quote, I just think it's fun. I'd rather go out with a bang and be the guy that was planting seeds and just causing havoc.
Let's be honest, Nathan didn't cause any havoc.
No, that didn't quite happen.
No. But have you noticed there's a trend here that, and we said this in the first episode, that everyone wants to be a traitor? This is the first series really in the UK where everyone seems to want to be a traitor. And it's interesting because I think that might be one of the reasons why the faithful are being a little bit random, because I think a lot of them went in there hoping that they were a traitor.
They planned to be a traitor.
So their game plan was, I'm going to be a traitor.
Didn't work. Because those quotes by him then it sounds
traitorous
like
behaviour.
It sounds like, do you remember Paul from last series, the ginger traitor guy?
Yes.
Who, like everyone was the villain.
Yes.
That all of his quotes then sounded like I'm being Paul from series 2, and voted out. So
this is why, in a weird way, I think you should always, when you apply for the show thinking you're going to be a faithful, and but don't expect to be a faithful, but be prepared if you become a traitor. Sorry, don't expect to be a traitor, but be prepared to become a traitor. That's the way you should go into it. Don't go in there thinking I'm going to be a traitor.
And this is what I'm going to do.
And then prepare yourself to be a faithful. Yeah. No, you need to prepare yourself to be. You need to accept that you are faithful, innocent until proven guilty. You need, because if you think about it, only 3 are traitors out of a group of 22. That's what, an eighth. That's an eighth.
Sounds
of the
like
group.
maths.
Alex maths.
But like it was funny because all the interviews that all of them were like, I want to be a traitor, and they all had their little bits to camera to say, didn't they? Like even Lisa was like, I can lie to God, I'm not this and this. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone was ready to be like, yep, I could be a traitor to Claudia. But yeah. So
this feels like this is the first time I've watched a UK series, certainly, because this had in the American series 9 times out of 10 they're all like, I want to be a traitor. But sorry to any American listeners.
Was that an impression of Ekin-Su?
No, Ekin-Su is why don't people believe me? Sorry, Ekin-Su's lovely and we love her. No, I just want to appease the people who moan about us being
Ekin boo-hoo-hoo.
Ekin boo-hoo-hoo, yeah.
I still have the Ekin-Su fan account like sending me messages.
What do they say?
Don't talk about Ekin-Su. Stop talking. Don't talk about Ekin-Su. But they keep replying. Don't call her Ekin boo-hoo-hoo. Like, all right.
I'm sure Ekin-Su can look after herself. She released a book. Everyone. Oh, did she?
Autobiography.
I bet it's good for soaking up tears. It's like a box of Kleenex. Yeah. Just don't. I'm surprised by how many of them want to be traitors this year. I think it's because a traitor won last year as well, and I've got a feeling that might be another reason.
Also, they get screen time, so I do think people are aware that if you're a traitor, you get like 80% more screen time, and you get loads of the bits to camera as well.
This is what annoys me about when a reality TV show becomes a bit bigger than it. You know, people go on there thinking this is their opportunity to get fame. No, go on here to realise that this is your opportunity to win up to £120,000. If you get fame on the back of it,
have a bit of fun.
Well done. Yeah, you've got 12 days to have fun, which is another reason why I think a lot of them are getting upset, because I don't think they're getting upset necessarily because they're like being called a traitor. I think they're getting upset because they think to themselves, I wanted to be on here for longer. Yeah.
I think Studio Lambert are quite good at casting though.
They are.
So I think they've, like I say, like these, like Nathan thought he would be a traitor. They didn't pick him to be one. Do you know what I mean? I think Studio Lambert are quite clever with knowing who to pick and who's there for just to be on MasterChef next year and who's not, you know?
Yes.
Looking at you, Diane. Right, so Keith, 65. He's from Bournemouth.
Oh, our old stomping ground.
Poor
near
Keith.
enough.
Right, Keith describes himself.
Bournemouth is a lovely place.
It used to be, not anymore.
Bournemouth is a very nice place to go. It has
Needs
a very
budget.
nice gay culture.
Does it?
Yes.
Right.
There was a place, it used to be called The Exchange, and there was a club called Dorothy's. So you'd go to Dorothy's beforehand, have a few drinks, and then you'd head to The Exchange to get yourself...
How basic. To
evening.
exchange what? STIs.
To exchange... Oh, don't be gross.
Keith describes himself as easygoing. Doesn't go to The Exchange. Although if
he went to The Exchange wearing his taekwondo suit, I bet
with his
he'd get
magnifying glass.
Yeah, with his magnifying glass. Yeah.
He had that joke that got a laugh on night one, and he did it again the second night, didn't he? Where's the traitors? I love Keith. Right. He'll, what am I doing? Keith describes himself as easygoing, although he'll do his utmost to win. That's right. He's out. He's an optimist. I'm getting coughing now, so just please ignore my voice. He's an optimist and loves to make people smile with his magnifying glass. Quote, I'm never sad, never miserable. I don't take things too seriously, and I'll be bringing that to the castle. For a window cleaner, though, he does hate heights.
Yeah, he said that, and that amazes me.
People laughed at him, but it was true. Yeah. Quote, I use extra long sponges.
Sponges?
What's this got to do with the traitors? I use extra... when he was doing his interview, he was just talking about his job, wasn't he? I use extra long sponges so I can keep my feet firmly on the ground. But don't underestimate his physical skills, though. He's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said... jiu-jitsu or whatever I said.
Yeah, well, now we know. He's brought it with him, which he believes has given him an extra sense of reading other people's body language.
I suppose that's true, because when you're doing a martial art, you have to see what the other person's doing so you can guard it and then go and then hit back.
So the question is,
I learned that from a friend.
Is if you're listening and you were on the show, what exercises or material or stuff do you do? Do you do taekwondo, rock climbing, cycling, swimming?
Do you cycle to work?
No.
Please get in touch.
What do you do to keep yourself fit? Freddie, we need an answer from you first.
So it's normally at this point where I would say to the cast who have been eliminated or murdered on the show to please get in touch. And if it was any other version outside the UK, they would gladly get in touch and we would have a nice conversation with them about whether they ride a bike to work and also giving us a little bit of dirt about like other things that happened on the show, which is lovely. I am going to put that call out to the people who are on this series.
What do you do to keep yourself fit? Is this year's question?
No. Do you ride a bike to work? And what skills do you have outside of work? How long is your sponge? So
no.
What?
You need a different question. We've had the same question for 3 series now.
And we always get a reply.
Oh, it's stupid. The question is,
what
how do you
pets
keep
do
yourself...
You have?
We did that last series.
Yeah.
I tried to get that in and you were doing the bike thing again.
What do you ride a bike to work?
Well, let me have a question. Then you've had 2 series of questions. My question is, what do you do to keep fit? We know that Keith does taekwondo.
I suppose it is a new year. New year, new you. What do you do to get fit?
We know Freddie
Riding
does
a bike
all sorts.
To work? That's one example.
What if they work from home?
Ride a stationary bike. You could have one of those panettone ones, or whatever they're called.
Right.
Panettone, isn't that the bread?
Panettone.
Panettone.
That's a dessert. Anyway, so that's what Keith's done. Keith's kid dead.
Yes, but which is a shame. But at the same time, I don't think he was really going to offer much to the game.
No. We had another twist as well. Series 3 twist. The mission wasn't just to earn money.
No.
There was a giant traitor looming. Claudia's boyfriend.
Yes.
Which makes me suspicious about Claudia. And they had to like...
It's like throwing a hot dog down the alleyway.
They had to answer questions.
I apologise, Claudia Winkleman, if you're watching this.
Just general questions about whatever the show is, whatever's going on. How many moons are there?
Some of the questions were easy,
glasses?
like how many people are still in the game.
Yeah.
Or
and some were very difficult.
Some of them are very difficult.
And some had money in them, and some had gunpowder. They had to pick buckets of gunpowder, fill up this thing. If they got it to a certain amount, then the big traitor statue got blown up, and that meant that the traitors couldn't murder.
Yes, which was a nice twist, actually. It really upset Mina as well, because Mina felt like that she does all the work all day, and she feels like her one thing she can do. Most people
a
go
little
home,
treat at night.
Exactly. Most people go at home, maybe have a glass of wine. Or maybe enjoy a chocolate biscuit to dip in their tea, a dippy biscuit in their tea. Not Mina. She thinks about murder.
Yeah, stabbing, poisoning.
She believes it's her
pen letters.
deserved right. They did earn an extra £6,000, which means the prize pot already is at a staggering £13,000.
That's right. But I like this twist because there's lots of times where people are like, I'm going to watch out and see if anyone's sabotaging the games to see if they're a traitor. And it's like, no, that's stupid because this is a prize pot and the traitor wants bloody money. So no traitor would be that much of an idiot to sabotage a game, apart from one traitor who we do not talk about.
Preach.
From Down Under. He's the only one that's ever done that.
Because he's a prat. Well, and also don't forget the idiot from the Canadian series who...
Which one?
Well, the one who didn't understand the game.
Oh, yeah.
We're deliberately being very vague in case you want to watch the series so you can see. But he
did.
He or she bought something which they
yeah.
didn't need because they were a traitor.
Yeah, but that was more to do with them not understanding the game.
No.
I think. So, but this twist actually means that you can now watch out and see if there's a traitor sabotaging the thing. And, we have 3 traitors. Out of the 3 traitors, which one do you think did a little bit too much and was a little bit too obvious?
I think I might know, sir.
Who?
I think it was Amani.
That's correct.
Excellent.
Full marks, yes. She was like pretending that she didn't know all the questions.
The simple questions as well. Like how many sons do we have? Or
yeah. Or like who wears glasses or something.
Yeah, or what colour is the sky?
She was
it's
like,
yellow,
I
isn't
don't know,
it?
There's 4. No, there's 2. Everyone was like, no, there's 2.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I think there's 4 actually. But if you want to do it and ruin it, go ahead. But she did a bit too much. But I don't think anyone really picked up. No. Although maybe that's when Tyler maybe picked up a bit more of his Amani theory.
I think it was actually because it wasn't Tyler. I think it's Kazim after the game did mention that he noticed that Armani was being
she was getting all the questions wrong,
or deliberately trying to get the question wrong. But he did say it might have been that couldn't say exactly whether it was the money chests or the gunpowder. But no, I agree with you. This was nice because it gave the traitors an opportunity to sabotage the game. They weren't getting rid of the money, which you're quite right. It'd be a fool's errand to do that, but to get rid of the opportunity for them not to murder, yes, of course.
It's a nice thing for the faithfuls as well, because the faithfuls do have like a huge disadvantage, and it gives them something to
spot
do
and look out for.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Mina did try, but Mina didn't try that hard. Linda was just surviving.
Just tired.
She was just surviving.
We know from her fact file last week. That's why these fact files are important, everyone.
Yes.
Is that the one thing she is worried about is the physical challenges.
Which she was quite right to.
So she just played the old card and said, I'm too tired. And then, so she didn't have to, she got away with it. She was fine.
I couldn't stop thinking about when they were playing the game that there was the bit when it was about 3 minutes from the game. I didn't realise that they all had to be at the same finish spot or else all the money they've collected, they don't win. So 4 of them or 5 of them was like pulling the chest along. And it reminded me of Pikmin, just before the sun.
Blow the whistle.
Yeah, when the sun is setting, and they have to go, and they have to quickly get back to the shuttle, and like you quickly
Linda
throw.
Was there,
Wait,
the last one.
Well, why didn't they instead of shouting, "Come on, drop the chest"? Because there was £1,000 they were carrying. Instead of saying, "Drop the chest and run," they still had about a minute and a half left. They weren't far enough that I think that if more of them went over to them, took the chest. So there was about Pikmin. 8 of them, more Pikmin.
Right.
If Olimar,
Claudia,
was throwing them at the chest, and they were picking it up and pulling it toward it, they could have pulled that chest. They could have got themselves an extra £1,000. They would have had £14,000 at that point, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, I wasn't there, but I feel like
you weren't.
I wasn't. But I just feel like that they missed enough. They could have got that 7th chest or whatever number chest that would have been for them to add to their prize.
This was their first mission, though, so they live and learn. So next week.
Yeah, but the first mission is always the one when it's a little easier to do, and then it gets more and more difficult until the very end when they're literally jumping from helicopters and rock climbing off sheer rock faces. I mean, God help Linda if we're getting to that stage. Linda's going to be in a lot of trouble. It'll make great television.
She'll be map reading. It's fine.
That's fine.
So
orienteering with Linda.
As always, we're running way over. We should have finished a long time ago. Right, so we need to move on. So we did the game.
Yep.
They won the money. They won the no murder. So no one's getting murdered.
Yep.
Traitors are
disappointed.
upset, but there is still a banishment happening.
There is. So straight to the round table they went. After they had the delicious meal. I forgot how yummy their
Lots
meals
of
were.
mash.
I know.
Everyone was
Right
having
up.
mash. Spoons of mash everywhere.
I would have eaten a lot of mash. I mean, they've used a lot of energy on the game today. So you can expect them to have a few carbs.
There was quite a few targets on our lovely Ellen, who was emotional. She's the one who said, I have an inkling there's an older traitor, strong female traitor. That's her thing. And
that kind of rattled people immediately. And Ellen felt like that she was damned if she did and damned if she didn't. She felt like she was going to get murdered because if the traitors if there are elderly people in the, I'm trying to be polite, but if there are older people in the traitor group, then they're going to get rid of her for being suspicious of it. If there isn't, then they're going to get rid of her because they're going to make her look it look suspicious.
And it could be 3 men who make her want people to think it is 3 women, so they'll get rid of her that way.
Exactly. And then she also feels like that she's made an accusation very quickly, and it made her look guilty and actually made her look like a traitor for knowing that there is an older person in the group. So basically, Ellen had her cards written and she was basically able to...
She was very in her head because she was also well, I react slowly because I think in Welsh. And it's pardon? But
I've heard that though, to be fair.
I think she was in her head quite a bit, and she was struggling with the game.
She was.
Emotion-wise.
Leanne at the round table said that basically, and she was open with Ellen, and she said that, a lot of people were talking about her. Livy said that she felt like her behaviour was switching.
Yeah, she went right for her, didn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was.
Last week I was saying she was all sweetness and lies. No.
A few of them said she had strange behaviour. She said it was down to, as you said, to nervousness, and she was thinking in Welsh.
And then, what was it? Alex who said people do, or Dan? It was either Dan or Alex. One of them said people do cry. It doesn't mean they're a traitor.
I don't know which one said that.
One of them did, but yeah,
that's the right thing to say.
That is fair because people do. That's the trouble with this game, is that you do some one thing and everyone thinks you're guilty for it, and there's no way you can. I think that's what happened to Ellen. She got too
she got inside her own head, and she started, and I think she was overthinking everything. Charlotte, then, because a lot of accusations being then thrown at Charlotte, because Charlotte was showing a very negative behaviour, and Charlotte seemed to be kind of admitting defeat, and so people kind of felt like she didn't need to be in the game anymore because I don't know if they think this is one of those where they know she's not a traitor, but they know that she's not of any benefit to stay in the game either. So there's no reason to keep her in. Yeah.
But the traitors are all right because they can keep these ones in and they can just be the target instead.
Yes, exactly. And another one was Kazim, because Kazim, we forget to have mentioned, at the breakfast table, decided to make a toast to Nathan randomly. Why do people do this? Why do people put themselves in the parapet?
Look at me. It's no, you don't want people
Hello,
to
everyone,
look at
I'm
you.
here. No, you want to be part of the game. You want to be involved, but you do not want people to be staring at you. And to do something like that, to make a toast to Nathan's memory.
And use a Welsh word which you couldn't remember.
Yeah,
and then had to ask for help.
Ellen to give you help, which makes you even more suspicious because everyone thought Ellen was a traitor. Basically, then people started thinking that Kazim was a traitor too. Joe said he had a niggling feeling about Kazim after his toast at the breakfast table. And as I mentioned earlier on the podcast, Kazim is quite close, apparently, seemingly, with Linda. And Linda is also another one, although not getting as many votes this time. She only had a single vote.
Yep.
People are still a bit... by people, I mean Jake is still a little bit suspicious that
and
Linda...
no, not Tyler. Just Jake.
That Linda is a traitor. And because of Kazim's relationship with Linda, they're kind of putting 2 and 2 together and making 174.
Yeah.
So
is what we like.
We do. But the votes were a little erratic again.
But Ellen went.
Ellen went. Ellen had 9 votes. Charlotte had 4. So Charlotte, you do need to watch your back now.
She's gone next week.
Kaz had 3. So that's interesting. Linda had the 1 vote, as we know. That was from Jake, obviously.
Did Jake have a vote?
No, actually, I retract what I said at the top of the show. Jake did not get a vote. Linda, who did Linda vote for?
Probably Ellen.
I think you might be right.
With the majority.
Francesca got 1. That was Lisa who voted for Francesca.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, she said she had nothing to go on tonight and she can't be convinced that it was anyone else, so she just went for Francesca. That's a dangerous game to play because that's how enemies are made. If you think it's Francesca, either go with the crowd just to keep yourself safe and out of the way.
Stay hidden and go with the crowd.
Or if you're going to go for someone completely left wing, just left field. Sorry, not left wing.
Don't go for Freddie.
Don't go for Freddie. If you're going to go someone a bit left field, then don't go for someone with a conviction. Don't just say, "Oh, I don't really know, so I'm going with you." Freddie got 1 vote. And that was from Dan, because he doesn't agree with his rationale. So the opinion that Freddie gave out for who he was voting for, although not that shown on the show, Dan did not agree with. So Dan's interesting. He's kind of going off.
I was really prepared to not like Dan on episode 1. I thought he was going to be one of those, and I thought he was going to be picked as a traitor. I thought I was ready to just not like him because I didn't like the way he was doing it. But because he's been forced to be faithful, and I think again, he thought he was going to be a traitor. He's quite a good faithful at the moment. He's pushing his opinions out there, and he's not scared to say them. And I think he's quite safe. So yeah,
I think if you're going to be a faithful, play the game. You really have to be Dr. Detective. There you go. That's something. Use Keith's magnifying glass. Anyway, as you said, Ellen went. So that means...
Oh yeah, we've got a fact file for Ellen.
We have a fact file for Ellen.
24 years old. Ellen speaks Welsh as her first language.
Does she?
And then English as her second.
See, this is what I mean. So I do get it, that like having lots of people talking around her in English, and that's your second language.
Well, her job is a translator, so...
Yeah, but
Get with it, Ellen.
Oh, I'm
Get
sorry.
with it, Elle.
No.
I last episode I thought she was going to be in the final, so I'm the one who's left red face, which means she isn't always as articulate in the latter. Quote, so people tend to associate that with me being dumb. Well, that's a stupid association, Ellen. People shouldn't say that. How many people know 2 languages? Not me.
Oh, I concur, but I
so
think...
who's dumb now?
I think a lot of people, quite wrongly, also see the Welsh language as being a little bit kind of like...
Well, that's what Charlotte's doing. She said, I'm speaking my Welsh accent because people were less guarded.
Her Welsh accent.
Yeah, her London accent.
that's carrying a lot of weight.
But the reason she was doing it was because she said it's one of the most trusting, and people obviously don't think you're highly intelligent because you're all trustworthy. No, it's just a Welsh person. So
just a Welsh person.
That's what her theory was.
Yeah.
Although she can't do her Welsh accent, so it's a bit of an issue. Anyway, this is Ellen, not Charlotte. Quote, however, how I present myself on the outside doesn't really represent what's going on the inside. That's something I feel like I can use in the castle to my advantage. Didn't go that way. It was not an advantage in the end, sadly.
No.
She says she's convinced there's going to be a big twist in the 3rd season.
There was more than one.
There was. So she is preparing to change her game plan on the spot. A self-described flirt, she'll also be looking to see if there's an opportunity, quote, where having some boys on my side would be a benefit.
Oh, so she's going to use her sexual allure to get men on her side?
Well, I did say her profile picture was fierce and made her into the final. So
she
it worked on me.
Didn't she?
It worked on me.
That's pretty harsh for the BBC. That's hardcore restricted 18 behaviour there for the BBC.
There you go. But none of that happened, I'm afraid, because as, quote, Yin, our first murdered, this was meant to be chapter 1, but
yes,
it was actually the end of the book.
She wanted to be the light of the show, but ended up being fizzled out.
There was an extra clip they showed on BBC Uncloaked, the show we don't talk about.
The lesser podcast.
And she does another long monologue on there. She's like reading out a poem about the traitors in her time on there. So she's well away.
I miss Yin. I wish Yin had stayed a bit longer.
Same.
I reckon she would have been... I can imagine Yin being the one who sit at the round table and give out this huge, great big speech and at the end get voted out. I actually, yes, I think Yin missed the opportunity of having a round table.
Well, on series 23 of the Traitors UK, we can have all the people who were murdered first back as a special.
Yeah, they could do an All-Stars.
Yeah, series 23 have 22 people who were murdered first.
It goes against our wants for TV.
Yeah, but Yin will be there, so
yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Now,
there you go.
Interestingly, I should point out that obviously we've been talking about Amani and how she seems to be standing out in the crowd a little bit to Mina's worry. Alex, after the vote, started speaking to a few people, including Mina. And he said that he felt like Amani was manipulating people and that she challenges anyone who doesn't vote with her. Now that's interesting, isn't it? That Amani is seen by... because and people didn't disagree either. Maybe they were just being green.
Because he said
agreeable.
it to Mia, didn't he, as well?
Mina.
Her sister. Yeah, Mia.
Oh, yeah,
Maya,
he said it to Maya
sorry.
as well. Yeah, he said it to Maya as well.
But she was like, yes.
Yeah, Maya agreed with him.
She's fully prepared to get rid of her sister, I feel.
Do you know what? I'm Team Maya. 100% with Maya. I bet it was Marnie who said to Maya, let's tell everyone we're sisters. And Maya was like, no, we shouldn't do that. And Marnie was like, no, I'm going to tell everyone. And just went off and did it. So yes, so Alex is now kind of pushing an agenda against Amani after the vote. I mean, I feel like it's coming. I think it's interesting that episode 3 is not on iPlayer. Every year 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3 have come out on iPlayer at the same time. We thought that there was going to be a really interesting twist at the end of episode 2 for the reason why they're not showing episode 3. That wasn't the case in the end. I think episode 3 is the Blindside episode. And
already?
Yep. And I think it's going to be an excellent episode. Hence why they're leaving it to be aired live on Friday's episode.
No. Only time will tell.
So I am excited to see that.
Yeah, the two traitors at the conclave basically were saying,
shut up, Hermione.
Yeah, because Hermione was like, you're not doing enough. And they were like, well, actually, loads of people saying your name and you're doing too much.
Well, no, they didn't say anything. This is the thing. They didn't
like, yeah, but their bits to camera. I mean, like afterwards, they were like, actually, this is what's happening. So
we don't agree.
There's going to be a fallout soon.
I can't wait to see Linda and Nina's conversation about Hermione. I think that's going to be a fun conversation between them.
But Hermione's there and she's going to be giving all the quotes and bits to camera. So
yes,
she's
quotes,
loving it.
Quotes that you can use on your soundboard in the future. So that's it, I guess. So now you guys have time to let us know, what do you think episode 3 is going to be all around? Roundabout? Do you think Hermione's playing a good game? Do you think that Mina and Linda are wrong to suspect her of being out? Who do you think is going to be the first one out? As I said, the poll is on our social media, which you can find on X at Traitors Podcast, on Instagram and Threads at Faithful to the Traitors. You can find us on YouTube by searching Faithful to the Traitors Podcast. Don't forget to comment underneath, ring the bell, follow, and you can find us on any of your favourite podcast apps as well. Don't forget to also subscribe and follow us on there as well. Tell your friends all about us. We're truly independent. We have nothing to do with the BBC, so we can say what we like. Yes. And give us an email. We will read out your emails as well. faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. And if you like the podcast, don't forget to find us on this QR code where you can find our WhatsApp group, and go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful and you can help fund the show as well.
Lovely. Right. So then until next time, got a few days wait now. Until the last
one
episode.
day, but
well, it's a long time for me. But until
anything
then,
could happen. You could get even worse, even more ill.
It's still then, stay faithful.